Hello everyone, and welcome to yet again another episode of Around the World with our teachers. Today it's just me and our new teacher from Australia who will be joining us from the next school here, and I'll let him introduce himself.
Hi, I'm Jaidynen. I'm from Australia, as Mary mentioned, and I'm currently living in Poland and have been here for about 8 or so months at the moment.
Yeah, welcome. How do you like Poland?
I do really like it. The first thing that I always think of when people say that is the prices. It's a lot cheaper here than Australia. Australia is getting so expensive, even we can barely afford it. But yeah, I am thoroughly enjoying Poland, particularly now in the summer weather. Maybe not today because it's ridiculously hot.
It is very hot.
But it reminds me of home a little bit with how hot it is. But yeah, it's nice and warm without being too hot, like I would say it is in Australia.
Is it? Today we are going to be discussing cultural differences between Australia and Kenya, and basically something to do with summer. So we're going to be discussing differences between Kenya and Australia. What is everyday like in Australia?
A lot of outdoorsiness. Us Australians are very outdoorsy.
Okay.
Generally on the weekend everyone goes, a lot of people go to the beach or outdoor activities, because even in winter people still can go outside. It's not freezing. You don't need a huge thick coat on to go outside, so we're usually still doing something outside to some degree.
Okay.
But yeah, people are also very friendly, outgoing, happy to talk, happy to make conversation in between what's going on.
Yeah, so what's the normal work hours?
Usually between 9 to 5, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And kids at school usually between 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. of an afternoon, or 3:15 p.m. in my case. That's when we ended.
Great. So second question, what's something that is completely normal in your country that may seem strange in other countries?
People in Australia walk barefoot a lot. Maybe not out to public so much, but you'll often see people going around outside barefoot a lot. A willingness to, as I mentioned before, talk to strangers a lot, like just going through the checkout. You know, people will say, "Oh, how you going? How's this like?" and just make like little chit chat in between, that kind of thing. Which, as far as I know, is pretty unique to us. Some other countries aren't so willingly to just talk, you know, that openly.
Yeah.
And definitely the heat.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with the heat I have had. It's pretty hot. So interesting. If someone from Poland visited Australia for the first time, what would surprise them the most?
Probably a lot of space. Our country is really spread out. We don't have as many 2- and 3-story buildings. Most houses are only 1 story, and with a big yard, big front yard, that kind of thing. Even the cityscapes are very spread out. Not so many apartment buildings. The majority of Australians don't live in apartments, so they all have their own houses. The money is probably also a bit different compared to what you're used to, and also noisy birds. We have a lot of noisy birds year round, or constantly hear some kind of chirping or something outside. I still think it's strange here, being in the middle of the day. It's different now in summer, but even in winter where it's just dead silence. You know, even in winter we have the noisy ones outside.
Interesting. It actually does get very quiet here sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially on Sundays, it's really quiet. It's scary. It's scary sometimes. That's an interesting fact you mentioned about your money being plastic. What currency do you use in Australia? Sorry.
I have some examples here of some of the money. This is a $50 banknote, a 20, 10, and 5. They're quite colourful compared to other examples, and they also have, actually here I have as well a difference in, this was how our money used to look for a long time, and they recently changed it to this, to have these kind of clear windows that go straight through, which is supposedly meant to stop counterfeit and fake bills going around. So that's how our money looks like, and it's all plastic as well.
Oh, they are very colorful for sure. Mm-hmm. Maybe Sandra, you may take a picture of this and put it on the screen later. And how big is Australia?
The exact size, straight off the top of my head, I'm unsure, but I know that it is about 25 times bigger than Poland.
25 times bigger than Poland. That's interesting. And what's your population?
About 27 million, I believe, at the moment. I think we have about, or Poland has about 50% more population than we do.
Oh.
And yet we're 25 times bigger. So there's a lot of Australia just sort of in the dead centre that no one lives in.
Great, that was really interesting. Your money is really beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
So to the next question, what's the funniest stereotype you've had about Australia, and is it true?
Oh, there's a lot of stereotypes about Australia. They're all quite funny, but I know one I think people say a lot is that we ride kangaroos to school, which unfortunately isn't true. I wish it was, that would be great fun, but no, they're a bit too wild for that. One of the others I hear a lot people say is that we're upside down all the time, or like hanging from the roof because we're on the other side of the world. So people like to think that we're upside down, but no, we sit and stand on the same the same ground as everyone else.
Is it? Good to know. Yeah. But that was really funny. So what's one fact about Australia that nobody knows but should?
Well, a lot of Australia is kind of known, at least in rumour and whatnot, but I know one interesting fact is that we have the longest fence in the world, which is 5,600 kilometres long, which is as long as if you were to line up 8 Polands next to each other, it's that long.
And why is it so long?
Apparently it was, I'm not sure if that's why it still is there, but originally it was to keep the wild dogs out, like dingoes and whatnot. It's called the dingo fence, as a matter of fact. So I'm not sure if that's the purpose it still serves, or if it was even very good at that, but apparently that was why it was built.
Okay, that's an interesting fact. What was your biggest culture shock when you arrived in Poland?
Well, one I have to say, I know it's kind of a bit of a stereotype, but it seems to have some truth in it, is the reservedness of Polish people, being like not smiling too much and giving into sort of small talk and whatnot. But at the same time, I kind of have this image of Polish people as being like a creme brulee, because they have a hard outer layer, but once you crack through that, they're very soft and sweet once you get to know them.
Interesting. You should be careful about not smiling. It's actually addictive.
Oh,
when you stay here for too long, you kind of get used to not talking or smiling to people, and so careful about it. One of my biggest ones today, being a summer, is their love for soup. Today, being as hot as it was today, someone is having soup in this hot heat. Why would you be having soup?
I had soup today. I had soup today.
It is so hot. Why would you be having hot soup to add on to that? So that for me was a shock.
Yes, I agree.
Great. Now we shall have a few questions about summer and vacation in your country. So on to the first one. When do school holidays start in your country?
They start around mid-December and go to late January, so kind of like through the end of the beginning of the year, because that's where our summer is, which also means we have a big break in between Christmas, so like school holidays and whatnot is all around Christmas, which is great. And it seems to me so bizarre when I come to countries like this that have summer in the middle of the year and have summer break in the middle of the year, because I'm always used to it being like end of the year, the school year finishes, everyone has time off, has Christmas, and then goes back to start a new year of school, start a new year of work at the beginning of January. But I know in countries like here in Poland, where the school year goes through the Christmas and into the next technical year, which I always thought was kind of strange.
That is actually very interesting. We also do have our new school year starting in January.
Okay,
in Kenya, so it's somewhat similar, I may say.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, and to the next question. What is a typical summer like in Australia?
It's usually a lot of outdoorsness again, going to the beach, of course. I know it's stereotypical, but yes, we do go to the beach a lot. A lot of sort of like backyard games like cricket and volleyball and things like that, bike riding, all that kind of stuff. Camping, Australians love camping as well. I noticed that when I came to Poland actually, I very rarely see the big caravans or campers, I think as they're called here in Poland. barely ever see any around here, but in Australia you nearly see one every 3 doors in front of someone's driveway. They've got a caravan.
Oh.
So you see them all over the place, always on the highways traveling. So people love to go camping in caravans and all that kind of stuff, because we have lots of them near the beach and out in the national parks and things like that.
Ah, interesting. Okay, and on to the last question of today's video. Where do Australians go on vacation? Do you go inside the country or abroad?
Most people go inside the country. I had never left Australia until 2019. But so generally people do go around Australia, go on camping trips, go to the Gold Coast, which is in Queensland. It's a very common hotspot with beautiful beaches and all that kind of stuff, and we have some fun parks up there, like theme parks with all the rides and that kind of thing. If we do go on vacation to a different country, it's usually Bali is a very popular one because it's very close and cheap for us, or New Zealand. A lot of people go to New Zealand as well because of course they're close as well. If not there, maybe somewhere north in Southeast Asia. But generally, I'd say most Australians go in country, mainly because it's so expensive. We actually have, I've heard, the most expensive passport in the world at about 417 Australian dollars.
Oh.
So that alone is a lot to put people off usually.
Okay, and that will be all for today. Thank you, our viewers, for joining us, and let us know if there is any question that you would like us to answer and that we may have missed out. So until next time, bye.
Bye.
Bye.